2005 Fiat Punto, MOT failure. She's starting to show her age. Let's have a look at what's wrong. So this wee car's failed MOT on a rotten subframe. So I'm going to replace the subframe. I think that's beyond repair, so it's pretty rusty all around, but it's a big hole in it there, as you can see. Not the camera. So what have I done so far? I have our wishbones removed there, disconnected from this, and that, and we'll have, I don't know if you can see it up there or not, we'll have our steering rack tied up, which is connected to the subframe. Exhaust is off, so I just have to buzz that dog mount there, a gearbox dog mount there, and we're going to drop this baby down. Right, we've all the bolts out of the subframe, so that beam adapter there, just a holder for us so it doesn't fall and hit me. So before we start the dropper, we make sure there's no fuel lines clipped to the frame or anything at all attached. In this case here, there was ABS sensor wires and a couple of fuel lines, so they're all clear. And whenever the wishbones just start to clear from the bottom of the struts, she'll come down nicely, hopefully. Oh, I got just catching there. Yeah. It's checking the other side there, so that looks pretty good. And this is on the jack now, completely. And maybe have to move the jack back a wee bit. And nice and controlled. That's her down. Onto the deck. Oh, noisy jack. There we are. So here's the subframe out, and there's that wee hole there. Yeah. So I've taken the bolts out of the wishbones, and we're going to replace the wishbones. We're not going to put the old ones back in again. And if I look at this bit, doesn't look too good. So I think that's beyond repair there. So there's a couple of wee things to transfer over. I have another subframe there, so that's a wee bracket for the ABS wire. We're going to replace the wishbones and the anti-roll bar bushings. And here is our subframe. You may think, oh, it's a brand new subframe, but it's not. That is an eBay special. That was bought off eBay, and I've sanded all the rust off it and give it a good old painting. So here's a wee clip of that. It's only 1.5 minutes long. Here we go. That's the new subframe in. That's the exhaust still to connect. And lovely and new looking. It's not new, but it's new looking. And new wishbones on there. So wishbones are tightened up there. That bolt there is loose. So is that one. So whenever I get the weight under the car and they're horizontal, then we tighten that up. As we've demonstrated before, if you're wondering about subframe alignment on the shank of these bolts, there's a wee beveled edge. So if you bring these up nice and evenly, it sort of centers itself. So that's quite neat from Fiat there, doing that. So you don't really have to really think about it too much. But we're going to track this car anyway once we get this car on the deck. And what I'm going to say to you, we'll just bring it over here again, is there's no anti-roll bar on this yet. You may notice there's something missing. So the anti-roll bar in these here goes onto the bottom of the wishbone. Now they're a curse, so it goes into a bushing. We're going to rebush it as well. So it goes into a bushing like that, and the anti-roll bar, and it bolts onto there. So the anti-roll bar is in that hole there and goes across. Same on the other side. So if you try to bolt these on with these wishbones hanging down like that, you'll really struggle, and it'll actually sit probably about there off it, you know. And if you try and prise this over to try and line these bolt holes up, you'll just strip them threads out. So that's not the way to do it. You need those two wishbones horizontal, and they'll line up okay then. So we'll probably film that wee bit, because it is a tricky bit, and I think it probably messes a lot of people about. So there you go. That's the MOT, Ministry of Transport. That's the inspection in the UK. It's a wee bit different in Northern Ireland. It's done by an agency, so it's impartial, or well, it's supposed to be impartial. It's impartial as you'll probably get. In Great Britain, it's done by independent garages, so just as good, I'm sure. But in this country, it's done by a government agency, so that's same as state inspection or anything like that. So that's what this car has failed on. Just while I'm here, I may mention that this wee Fiat, I would probably imagine that if I hadn't got that subframe there, and such a good one as well, a lot of times that probably would have been the end of this car. That would maybe would have scrapped this car. This wee Fiat is actually, in my opinion, worth putting back on the road again. They normally rust on the floor pan there, they normally rust underneath there, and this one here is 100%, and it's pretty good indeed. There's not a mark on it at all. It's not even showing signs of starting to rust. So the body of this car is good. As you saw, the subframe has completely rotted out of it, and this will definitely bring this car back on the road again for another few years, I'm sure. So there's another load of jobs doing this car. There's a few problems with the engine as well, but that'll be in another video. So exhaust on, and brakes, calipers, and get the wheels on, and we'll take it from there. If you're going to reuse an exhaust, you're going to put exhaust back together again. It's not brand new, so it's the old one here. Here's a wee tool here you might have seen before, or you might have heard of as an exhaust pipe expander. So long gone are the days you flip and ram a socket and that. So what happens is, obviously with the clamp on it, it squeezes it down and it's misshaped. And you probably have to weld it a few times to break it and get it out again. So it's a wee bit out of shape. So this goes back to the other end, nice and easy. And we're going to adjust it and get it into position. We're going to pick one that fits. You get a kit of 3 different sizes. It's not that expensive. Get it on eBay, our favourite marketplace, and you stick it in there. And you don't need to go really mad on it. You pull her out. So just simply widens those things out, and circle makes the bore circular again. I was trying to think of the word there. Circular thighs? No, that's not right. So hopefully that'll make it easier for the exhaust to go back in the air again. That's that kit there. 3 different sizes. So that exhaust expander saves you from bladdering a socket into it, and then the socket gets stuck and causes you all such grief. So that's the exhaust on then, and as you can see, the ramp is off the car, or the car's off the ramp, whatever you want to put it, and it's on these alignment tables. So this is so you can use it to post ramp, and as a result of that, our wishbones are nice and horizontal, and that means we can tighten this bolt up here, and our anti-roll bar there, it just goes up and bolts into those holes in there. So as I said before, if you don't do that, you really struggle with those, to getting those lined up, and you will surely strip those threads out. And it's only a wee 12mm bolt there. So I have the anti-roll bar. It's just hung on the bushings there. It's loose, so there's a good bit of movement down there. That'll give me a chance to get those up in, and then tighten everything up. And we'll do an alignment. So just for in case you're wondering about the safety of all this here, so the brakes are locked on, all 4, with the brake pedal, and they're jammed on with a ratchet type device. I don't know what you call it, but so all 4 wheels locked, and that's what you want to do if you're going to do this. If you're going to put this car down, there is ends on it there in case it does roll. But you forget to do that. So when you do an alignment, you want all 4 wheels locked, front as well, not just the handbrake on. So so the wheel doesn't move at all whenever you're doing that, whenever you're adjusting the track rod ends. So I'm going to hang the gauges on the wheels here, and look at this, lock the steering wheel in the front facing position, and get all these bolts tightened up. And that is that for this. So we'll have this car back on the road again. So I think that's this for this video. There's nothing really more to tell you regarding this aspect of this car. There might be another video in the pipeline but regarding the other engine issues that it has. It's showing pretty bad negative fuel trims, and there's oil flying out of it. It's just a rocker cover gasket. But so that's that for this one. Many thanks for watching. Hope you get something out of it, and all the best, and bye bye.